pulled up to your ambulance bay, and I went up to the counter and I'm like, my dad, I need help. I can't get him out of the car. He's really weak. I had 2 or 3 nurses come and with a wheelchair and get him out. They took him through, well, I parked in the garage. I got back through the ER. My dad was already in a hospital bed, all hooked up, and just sitting like happy. He acted like he was 5 years old again with the bladder infection, really, and happy-go-lucky. And it was just like amazing to me. My husband has
idiopathic pancreatitis.
So with your competitor, very similar situation. My husband was hospitalized for 4 days with the pancreatitis, and they discharged him. And within 18 hours, we were back at the hospital, and I was running red lights. I didn't call an ambulance, and I should have. I was so afraid. Cold sweats, losing consciousness. He was so sick, and he had to be hospitalized for 5 more days. Same situation. I pull up to the ambulance bay. They're yelling at me to move my car. And I'm like,
gotta move it, get it out of here now.
And so I found a parking spot in the ER, and I go up to the counter and I'm like, I really need help. My husband, he's losing consciousness. He was having chest pain, just cold sweats, and they said, do you need a wheelchair? And I'm like, please. I mean, really. So we got the wheelchair. I got him in there, and we had to wait through to be triaged, and it was just a horrible experience. And why we went there, I'm not for sure. But anyway, so while my dad was in the ER, we had a wonderful hospitalist, and I wish I could remember her name. But she took me aside, and we talked about the end-of-life choices for my dad. And I broke down, and I just told her, it had been a month since we knew he had lesions in his head. We did not know what they were. Doctors, just trying to figure out where to move forward, being able to move forward. And she just really took the bull by the horn. We're going to take care of this. We're admitting you. I had neurology come in. Rosemary came in, and phenomenal. My dad was being tested. We're going to get this all figured out, and I wish I remembered her name. I seem to have forgotten a lot of people's names. I wish I would have remembered. So we were placed on the neurology floor, and we had to wait for a long time in ER, and that was okay because we knew we were waiting for a room on the neurology floor.
Yeah, we wanted that floor, and so we had to wait.
And that was okay. I think the communication with us was phenomenal, and so we know Larry, and we were so happy, and that was exactly where my dad needed to be. So Rosemary would plan these meetings with us in the evenings after, I guess she did her rounds and such. And they were going to do surgery on my dad, Dr. Cericello, and he was scheduled to do surgery on Friday to figure out exactly what was in his head. They had done scans, and we knew it wasn't good, but we didn't know exactly what. And we were still hoping for treatments and stuff like that. But so Friday came along, and Dad was going to have his surgery, and a child had come in, and Dr. Cericello needed to do surgery on this little guy, and they had told us that my dad needed to be postponed, and we were perfectly fine with that. I think her telling us she was trying to put together a surgical team to come in on Saturday to do my dad's surgery, and that's what they did. And so my dad was the only patient in the OR on Saturday morning with Dr. Cericello, and we really felt like rock stars.
I mean, it was okay because of the fact, it was like we were bumped on Friday, and it was like, oh, but then we were told why, and it made complete sense. And then we thought, well, it'd be a couple more days because it would happen over the weekend. It would happen on Monday or Tuesday, and then we found out that no, we're actually going to open up the OR on Saturday to be able to do that, and they did. We walked in. We were the first people in the morning. There was no one there, but they took us. They allowed us to go back into pre-op and be with him until they actually took him away. They gave him a nebulizing treatment, and, and it was really cool. It was like, wow.
after the surgery, my dad had no pain. And I